Hello everyone, Krydax here. Welcome back to our Pyanodons playthrough. In this episode, we are going to finally begin automating circuits, which is a good feeling. We've made it this far by handcrafting, let's see how many circuits. We have handcrafted 17,000 circuits. So it will be nice to finally have those automated. I have built all of these buildings, and I have all of these modules, I guess except for the Moss, that's a new addition. I was looking at the chain, but quite a lot of buildings, as you can see, to automate this, and I even automated factory building Mark 1s because I'll probably need more than 4 of them. In fact, I know I'll need more than 4 of them. I'll probably need like 10 or 15 even. Because just this first step, which is what we're going to start with, is getting a ton of AUG paddocks to make manure. And as I sit here, I'm actually realizing we might have a better path here. So I'm doing a couple researches. I kind of forgot. We can get Factory Building Mark II and fit a lot more in there. So we are going to move that research to the first thing we do. And we'll work on automating that first, because Factory Building Mark IIs can fit a lot more in them. And yeah, we just need some creosote, and we can automate the electrical poles, the better poles as well, which is something we probably should have done as soon as we got green science. I've kind of been busy with other things, but that's a pretty reasonable thing to do. So I can make creosote from tar, so we'll just make that right here. And then we'll need one of these factory buildings. This will be making the medium electrical poles. I'm going to speed up the research. I think we have plenty of research packs. Yeah, we've got our 200 and we've got 5,000 red science. So that'll be nice. And then we'll need to import, make it closer. Do this, because this will make the small electric poles, so we'll need wood. Oops. We'll do 100 wood and cable. Fine, we'll do 200 of that. And then we'll automate the medium poles. Put those in a chest. As soon as we have this recipe done. There we go. And this guy will need steel plates to be added in. So we'll do that. Probably just 100. How many do we need per? 2? Yeah, that'll be fine. And then we'll do like 3 stacks. And then this will be crafting the Architecture 2 buildings. So we will need some fast inserters for that. And that will also be steel plates. I'll do a full 500. And what else do we need? Factory Building 2. Oh, we're going to have so much more space. Look at that. This is 30 by 30, which is 900, and 46 by 46, which is more like about 2,000, I'm guesstimating. 40 by 40 would be 1,600. 50 by 50 would be 2,500. It's probably somewhere around halfway in between those. And then we need stone bricks, quite a few. So many, in fact, we should probably be moving these stacked, but I don't need them all that often, so it's just every time I grab one building, it'll be a big influx of bots for a second, but then it'll calm down. So the actual throughput doesn't need to be massively high. And I actually want to do 2 inserters here, because we're going to need it. And we'll put one here. grabbing the medium poles. And then my logistics, I will request 50 medium poles, and I can get rid of all the small electric poles forever, which is nice. This should actually be a provider chest. And there we go. And what else? I can't do can I do recursion? I can. We're going to do that as well. This will help us save a ton of space on all of these AUG paddocks. Because I can put small buildings inside of one large building, and then we can have tons of things just coming out of one of these medium buildings. So that's exciting. I'm going to craft some steel chests for when I need them. And there we go, we're making our first factory building Mark II. Okay, so that was a good little detour, but we are going to begin the overview here. So what we're going to have to do is make our seaweed setup to make agar, to make petri dishes, and that's all for the Zognabacteria. Then we're also going to need 3 of the setups I did up here for moss and biomass right here. We're going to need 3 of these to be able to supply all of the moss and biomass we need for manure. And so we're going to need 3 of those setups, 1 of the seaweed limestone setups that we have. I think I'm just going to copy this, because I think this should be sufficient to provide the seaweed that we need. So that's 4 small factory buildings right there. And then we need 19 AUG paddocks actually making manure, which is a ton of space. As we saw up here, we can only really fit 3 in one building, because 4 is just a tiny bit too much. So thankfully these large factory buildings should help with that problem. So let's kind of take a look at what we can do in here. So there's lots of space. Let me get powered. Look at all this room. So how many, I'm curious, AUG paddocks can we fit in here? 1, 2, so we can fit 3 vertically. And then if there's 2 spaces in between, 1, 2, 3, and we can even fit 3 more. So that's a huge boost. I think we could probably manage. Let me see. Shoot. Not quite. Because the problem here is that we have 3 ingredients and 2 outputs. So we need 5 lanes in terms of, items. So I could, however, here's an interesting option. I could put a RoboPort in here, because the throughput of each of these is very low, which I guess I need to actually put the AUGs in, but the throughput here is like, what, 1 item per second? So I could just use requester and provider chests and dump 10 robots in here, and they could handle all of it. And then we fit more things in one. The other option, which might be the best actually, is once we unlock recursion, we can just put all the buildings inside here. Because 3 fit in each one, so that would be 12. And then we could, put the other ones down here. And that would be 12, 15, 18, 19. So I could just put them all in here after recursion is done. The problem with that is then we have a ton of belt space kind of being used up and a ton of belts. And that's very inefficient in terms of, what do you call it? Just, I don't know, overall logistics. Like there's, belts going into 9, or what is this, 7 different factory buildings. But then we can have the moss and biomass coming out of 3 buildings also inside of here. So I could probably And then like the water barrels can be coming in and out of this building. So I could probably fit all of this stuff in this one factory building. It is attractive. So I'll just have recursion 1. Decisions. Because the other option would be to just have the 9 paddocks in one building. I don't think I can fit more than 9. Because if I can only fit 3 in one direction, I can only fit 3 in the other direction. So even if I'm using bots, yeah, I can only fit 9. I might be willing to settle for 18, because then I would just have 2 buildings. And that would be nice. And then I would just have 2 of these buildings. Kind of right next to each other. And then I could have 1 more building doing all the providing. That feels honestly a little bit better than doing a ton of recursion. If I could fit 4 or 5 of these in a single small factory building, I think I would do the recursion method, but in this case, we would just need so many of the small factories and then a ton of belts. It actually feels a little bit more elegant to just do 2 of these. So I think that's what I'll do. I'm sure I'll use recursion in some other capacities, but I think for this, I will just do 18 in these 2 buildings. And I can also do the chest connections, which are very handy when it comes to bots. I have to research it though. This one. Let's see. And then, yeah, I can't research anything else. But the chest connections will allow me to just put a requester chest right next to here, and then a chest here, and they'll automatically either balance or input-output, kind of like pipes. And so that's pretty handy. So then we'll have these 2 having 18 alg paddocks, and then the other will have 1 more with the normal 4 spaces doing that. Do I like the location? I don't. I'm going to move these up to about here, I think. Because I want the stuff that requires materials from my bus to be more down there. And then I want to leave some room in this area for more mall buildings. So I'll probably just be expanding in this region. So, that there. Put this guy here. And then we'll do 1 more. Wonder what I'm out of. Small. Okay, what's going on here? We're out of copper. Something has gone wrong with copper. What? Oh. There we go. I had the input priority wrong there. So we were using the stone we already had before we were using the extra stone. So that was a problem. Okay. So now we actually need some more robots. So I need to make some more circuits. These require 10, these require 5. So I think probably like 5 logistics bots and 1 roboport will be plenty good enough in each of these. Put a roboport up here. And then we'll have this building, 2, 3. Of course, these are in the way. So this building will be making everything else. So we'll start in there and get these all powered up. So this building Let's pin this. We will need to be making biomass, seaweed. We'll need to be inputting. That's not a summary for the buildings. So let's just look here. We need petri dishes, glass, copper plates, iron plates, and a tiny bit of wood. So we'll just have all of those. Oh, I keep forgetting. We also have the new inserter rotations, which is a big deal, which will help. So we will just request all of those items. So we'll say copper plate, probably just, 100, given the amount we need per second is so small. Iron plate, we'll do 100. We need empty petri dishes, also 100. And I'll make the cable out of copper plates. I think that's all we needed. We'll use biomass to burn to make the steam. And then we can make everything else look like... Oh, wood. That's right. Wood, we needed how much? 0.25, so we'll do 200 of that. And that will all come in to a chest here. And usually you want to balance... I'm going to slow time down again. Whenever you have a requester chest, you just want to balance them. You don't want to input into this one, because otherwise it'll keep dumping contents, and this chest can get full, and then certain items won't be dumped in. And so balance mode is the mode you want. So it'll only move half of the items in the other one every 10 seconds. But that's still more than plenty, because every 10 seconds we only need like one of these items or half of an item. So we'll have more than enough. And then we can use filter inserters to put them on different belts and stuff, which is usually what we'll do. And now we have extra rotation options. So I can go diagonal now, which is super handy. So I can place this here, so we can, with different inserter configurations, we can have a ton of different items coming out of one chest, which is generally how I handle requests. So then inside of this building, we'll have our moss and seaweed and all that stuff. And then that'll come out to provide both of these buildings. So let's start with the seaweed crop facilities. We're going to need 3 of those. I think I made that. Yeah, I made that already. What's it called? I can't think of words. Blueprint. I made that a blueprint already. So we'll pop that blueprint down here. I'm going to rotate it. It's kind of handy. If you make a blueprint that fits perfectly in a factory building, you can also rotate it within that factory building to come out a different output. So that's nice. So we'll do that. And go back to researching, because I actually want the improved nanobot stuff here. And then more inventory space. And I won't need this amount of limestone, however. Oh yeah, and because I hadn't added these seaweed crop facilities in originally, we're going to need to craft those by hand real quick. Same thing with the soil. I'll need a couple more soil extractors, which are in the coal processing. And I'll need to actually go grab some seaweed. So we'll go do that at 2 times the speed. So we'll grab some seaweed carefully. I think 80 should be plenty. The bots are going to bring me things. Looks like we are hurting for copper because I was not producing copper for so long. Oh no, we have plenty. It's just we're not making copper cables out of the copper that's requested. We're only making it out of the copper that's on the belt. So that's going a little bit slower, I think. Once we upgrade to copper processing 2, that won't be a problem. I think 2 is a ton better. But, okay, so let's go ahead and keep working on this build here. So we've got probably only one of these needed, actually. Because the 3 buildings need an input of 0.165 limestone. And that's all. And we actually don't need limestone to be coming out of the building. Just the moss. So we're going to do this. Okay. So we've got that taken care of. Or seaweed. I keep calling it moss. And the seaweed is specifically to make agar. But we need steam, which means we need biomass. Oh, hold on. I had the wrong seaweed recipe selected. We can actually make seaweed from limestone as well. Which one's better? Oh, interesting. Maybe... Did I screw this up then? Seaweed. So I'm curious, okay, so if we compare the two, the seaweed from limestone takes 1.2 megawatts, about, and then the seaweed from carbon dioxide requires... Oh, you know what I should do is just hit record. Why have I not done that? And then it'll default to putting the modules in there. That only needs 2 buildings. And then the carbon dioxide will make from a very small amount of biomass, which I wonder... Can I make that from moss? Or seaweed? Oh, that's making way more than we want. So this needs to be 5%. 0.13. So it actually comes out to be about the same if we used the seaweed to make biomass to make the carbon dioxide. So I'll just stick with what I've got. Not that it really matters at this point, but we'll just set it up the way we've already built it. Okay, so the moss is good to go. And now I will need steam, which is going to come from a boiler, which I had previously crafted, but I think got used in something else. And then I said I'm going to need 3 buildings, which I think I can put all in parallel, to be making biomass and moss, which we already have a blueprint for. Power of blueprints, from nothing, biomass. I'm going to need a lot more pipes. I can see that coming. Oh, and I didn't account for all of these moss facilities we're going to need. Moss farms. So I'm going to run outside and let the bots do some delivering so we can craft a bunch more moss farms. We're still out of cables, though. It's a bit unfortunate. We're gonna need a ton of these. I think it's 9 in one building, so that's 27. Oof. The other problem with copper is I've actually started to run out of copper from the copper mines, as you can see here. And so we actually aren't even able to make our full capacity of copper. You can see all the screeners in the top left there, they're not even running. So, can I fix that quickly is the question. We have oh, that's chromium. We have copper over here. So, yeah, I could condense that and belt it over. I probably want to belt it down and then in from the left here. Do I want to do that right now? I don't think so. Maybe I'll do that in between episodes if I have the time. We'll also need a couple compost plants. 3 of them. Speed up time a little bit more. Let the bots do their magic. I should probably stand by them all. I actually don't know what all they're bringing me at this point. Okay, so then we're going to have all the biomass and moss coming out of that building. These 3 I can easily fit inside. We'll use some biomass to make the steam. And then we'll also be making the Zogna bacteria inside. And then we can probably do it inside this building on the right as well, actually crafting the manure and urea. So we'll have essentially stuff coming out here, and then manure will be coming out to go back in, along with the empty barrels. Because we'll have empty barrels to deal with. Okay. So, back into here. I don't think I need these extra spaces on the top, so I'm going to move these up a little bit. We will leave 2 spaces, just because if I want to belt something in, which I probably won't, but just in case. Okay, so we'll let this happen. Looks like everything is there. I do need to grab a bunch more pipes. I'm just going to preemptively grab everything. And we'll slow time back down. And I'm going to need to grab a bunch of seaweed, or moss, whatever this stuff is. From nothing biomass. Plop this down. Craft some more seaweed crop facilities because we still don't have enough. I do think we're going to need 3 of these buildings, because if I need 4.89 moss, I just called the moss farm seaweed crop. Moss and seaweed are too similar. I think the rate on these is only about 2 per second, so we'll need 3 plus a little bit of 1 to make the biomass. So I need to grab moss. That's what I'm doing. I need to jumpstart this with some actual moss. Oh, and you can see our Kickalc is building up slowly. We have 81. Don't remember if that's enough. I think we need like 100. So I'm going to craft... I switched over, as you can see, to the more efficient recipe that uses lamps, because these things were really slow. So we'll put some more lamps in here to make sure we've got enough by the time we need them. Got 10 more inventory slots, which is nice. Okay, so we'll put the moss in, or I guess our bots will do it for us, because it's part of the blueprint. And then we need to jumpstart with a little bit of biomass. And that should get some of these started, and then we'll be good to go. So we'll do the same in here. Get that jump started. One more blueprint. Oop. And we're gonna need a bunch more seaweed crop facilities and one more compost plant. Now this third one, I probably don't need all of these buildings, because each one of these can create 1.935, but not completely. What was the actual output? Do I remember? So it's either 6 biomass, but each is 4.3. Huh. So I don't actually know how much of the moss goes back into making biomass to make moss, because the way that I had it set up was to only make, it looks like about a fourth. So we'll see if this all ends up working out. Oh no, did I blueprinted the wrong thing. Shoot. I need to select new contents for this blueprint, because I changed it to include the moss. That wasn't there originally. And I guess I didn't blueprint the version that had the moss, of course, because we need both to be output. So I think, so what's actually different? So it looks like it just changes stuff on the right side. So everything from here on down we'll just get rid of. And then, yeah, that all lines up. Okay. Nanobots have been doing a lot of work. Need to craft a few more. Okay, fix that one, and then this one. Okay. We have lots of extra biomass. Okay, so we've got that all set up. So we'll want the biomass to be put together. Along with the moss. Biomass. I mean, these could all just be on one belt, actually. I don't really know what I'm doing. Don't waste logistics. In fact, can these be put... Yeah, why don't just do this, since I want them on one belt. I'll just have them come out on one belt. Okay. And then we'll run this by the boiler, which will need some fuel, and then that will go into a high pressure furnace, which is the only thing we need the seaweed for to make agar. We'll need water here. I can always move this, but we're just getting things done. The agar we can put on a belt, which needs to combine with the petri dishes, which will be coming up from here. Empty petri dish. Got it. And then that go into the incubator, which we'll put here. And then the logs, lamps, and the lamps will be made here. So this will be copper plates. This will be iron plates. This one will be the wood. Where is wood at the bottom? Yeah, here it is. Wait, no, that's stacked wood. Where's regular wood? That's right. It's literally the first thing. I'm blind. Okay, so we do need to make copper into cables. And then that goes into another one that's making lamps. And we need glass. I forgot to get glass in here. We don't have 100 glass? Oh, wow. It's interesting. Wonder why we're so short on glass. I did have a bit of a build-up. It looks like we're not short on glass. What's going on? Oh, we're just short on logistics spots. That's the problem. Because I handcrafted a million things. Yeah, well, okay. They can deal with it. So then we're gonna need one more inserter here. So I think I should do this differently. We'll have the iron one here. Iron right, copper left. Copper cable goes in along with iron, copper, and then glass will be this one. that will go in, make lamps. And then lamps will be put directly in, along with some pressurized air, which 20 per second is plenty, along with wood. And there we go. Zognobacteria is automated. And then we will need 2 making manure. We'll probably have manure come in something like there. And then we'll have 2 utilizing the zognobacteria and manure. Making urea. So we'll hook that up. And then we need water hooked up to here. Look at all this space we have. It's luxurious. Okay, and then we'll need barrels looping. So this will come out the bottom. Barrels will be coming out here. We'll actually have manure come in here and just go up this way. Maybe manure on one side, barrels on the other. That'll work. And so then we will refill the water barrels here. So the barrels will come up. We will say fill water barrel. That should do it. 1.47, so I'll actually use a fast inserter just in case. And then full water barrels will come out the left side here. Perfect. I think that is all good. Okay. So then we've got this coming out, and this coming out. Trying to think of how to do this. So for each one of these, we will have a requester chest. We'll have a requester chest for manure. I'm trying to decide if I need to separate the empty barrels and manure. And I think I might. Not actually sure. Let's try it the simplest way possible. We'll just actively provide the outputs to one storage. And then the inputs will be in a passive provider chest. And then the bots will do the rest inside. So I think what I'll do is I'll have a chest here. I'll have 3 filter inserters. Again, there are so many ways I could set this up. This is just one way. Don't know if it's the best, but we're gonna try it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna have these circuited. So they only put a certain amount, and then it'll be set to balance here. So I'm gonna put in moss up to 200. And then I'm gonna put in biomass up to 200. And then this one we'll be putting in water barrels. Water barrel. up to 100. And I also need a bunch of barrels to jumpstart this. Uh-oh, I've got probably too big of a space here. I've got bots going completely dead on me. Yeah, we've still got issues with copper. That's not good. So, I probably should set up a barrel maker here. And then we'll do the thing where it puts it in here. And we connect it to the logistics network, not the circuit network. And only if empty barrel is less than 500. So that way we'll always have barrels in the system. All right. I'll need way more than that, but it'll get there eventually. Okay. So we'll jumpstart with those barrels. That'll go in, that'll balance. So then for each of these, I'm going to need an active and a requester. But if I'm smart, I can hit 4 with 1. So, or no, I can't. I didn't leave 2 spaces. So I'll move these over. Because if we have 2 spaces, we can just use this one requester chest. So input, 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 and then we'll need output. I need to do something more like this. Put that there. So then we'll output from the left one, output from the right one, output from the left one, output from the right one will actually go here, and I'll have to move the drop tile, and then I messed up the input. That one. So 2, 2, 2, 2. Perfect. Now these are making manure. I did look into trying to establish making alg food first, because that's a better recipe, but making alg food is a complete nightmare, so I don't really want to do that right now. And then I probably need more circuits again. But I think 20 will actually be more than enough bots for this. Because the total throughput in one of these buildings, or let's see. Total throughput of items is 4.7, 5.4, about 6 items per second. So I think 10 bots can handle that. Guess we'll find out. We'll do 2 of those requests. And then we'll handle those 2. And we'll handle these 2, but I don't need those, and I don't need those. And then this is all just for this guy. Take out those 2 inserters. Now the active providers should take everything to storage. And then I will have a balancing chest here that will put the empty barrels on a belt, and this will put the manure on a different belt. Or, well, they'll combine to be the same belt. And that will run back, and... Come on. Do the thing, and then that'll run into here. It should work. I guess the problem is that these are going to make manure until this chest is completely full. So we'll actually do that. And then the problem is once manure is full, what if they stall out on belts? Or I mean barrels. And they can't make any more because they can't output their empty barrels. But then eventually the manure will get used up and it'll start running again. So I think we don't have to worry about stalling out. But hey, look, it's working. So then I'll just copy this setup onto this guy. These will do an underground. Copy that. Merge it. Bop it. And I think that will work. And then I need to copy everything in here. Paste it. Let's see what I'm missing. I'm missing nanobots is what I'm missing. And a bunch of inserters. Decrease the update rate on all these bad boys. And then I need to place the 10 robots. Everything's going in here. It looks like everything has moved around. The problem is the barrels. I also want to output that fully, right? Yes. No? I think we want to have that in output mode. This is actually kind of difficult, but I'm going to grab a bunch more barrels and see if this can run a little better. Of course, I can't carry very many. What did I have on the requesters? 30 water barrels? That's probably about right. Actually, I nailed the ratio, though. 30, 100, 100. That's for 10 crafts. But these take 40 seconds, so I probably overdid it on these requests. I'm going to reduce them down to half. Because there's really no reason to tie up that many barrels. And then I'll copy those requests into each of these buildings. So that'll help a little bit. Okay, so let me go grab some more barrels again. Seems to be running. Oh, I have so much biomass. Where's the nearest storage? We are gonna dump that biomass. And agar, and petri dishes, and moss and seaweed. That way I can carry more barrels. And then I think I'm gonna call it an episode once we kind of get this totally running. Because it looks like everything... Oh, well, not quite. we forgot an inserter. There we go. And then we'll throw urea on a belt. Output rate needs to be fast inserter. And that'll just go straight outside. And this needs to be an underground. Obviously, this is still getting itself figured out with the water barrels. I can probably bump that down to 50. So it says there's 0 out of 10 bots available. That's not great. We'll see if that changes after it runs for a minute. But we may need more bots. We kind of have to wait till everything is settled, though. But yeah, we may need more than 10. How's that look? Yeah, we're not getting rid of things fast enough. Okay, so we need some more bots, which means we need more circuits. Having to craft these copper cables manually is a pain. I do think I'll go get the extra copper mines going between episodes. For sure. Because I'm running out of copper in general. Ah! Okay. I think like 15 might be enough though. It feels like we're close to having enough. Let's try 15. Yeah, these active providers aren't being taken care of because the requesters are doing too much. Oh, also the charging might be an issue. I guess I'll put a charger next to each station because I can't fit them in between. So we should see the barrel number and the manure number decreasing over time. If not, we've still got a problem, and 15's not enough. 140 barrels, 119. $130, 100. Huh. I do think 15 is just enough. Because the barrels are decreasing, and once the barrels are all gone, then they'll start taking the manure. So we'll speed this up to X4 and see if we finally have equilibrium. I think part of the problem is they're doing kind of inefficient trips when they're only taking like 2 or 3 manure or barrels. But there's not an easy way to say only take if it's a full trip. But yeah, it looks like we're taking care of the manure and barrels now. It's kind of fun to use bots inside of a factory building. And it does look like this is all running. I guess I should probably start... I'm just going to put it in a chest for now, but we'll be doing other things with that soon. Alright, looks like we have almost reached equilibrium. And there we go, we've got some idle bots. But now they're not idle. I guess they kind of come and go in waves. If only you could see an average idleness. But it looks like that's just about perfect. So that means we need 5 more for the other one, which probably don't have enough circuits for all that. Yeah, we've got 4. But there we go. This episode has gone extra long, so sorry about that. But now this one will have the 15 bots that it needs, and the setup, I think, will work to provide us with urea. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I will see you in the next episode for building circuits.